are you ready to be fired up? Because I sure am. I have got Carolina Millan today. She is from Chile, and she is a coach. She coaches people. She's got courses in Spanish and courses in English when she works with you privately. And she is the first Spanish-speaking Commonwealth Club Award winner. If you know what that means, it means that she's had over $1 million through ClickFunnels online. So, and written books. Like, she's just amazing. Has her podcast. I cannot say enough about her. And more than anything, I actually personally know her. She has a very good heart, and she's a very servant of the people. So, Carolina, welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
Hi, Krista. It's such an honor for me to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, okay. So the first thing I asked her was, I said, is anything off limits? She goes, no, anything. I says, oh, that's what I love to do when people say we can just talk about whatever. So tell us a little bit about your journey, like, you know, a little bit about your backstory, where you came from, what you're doing now, who you serve, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So let's try to do the short version of the story. But I got started about 15 years ago. I was at my first job back in 2008. I had just graduated from university, ready to, join the real world. And then in the first 6 months of my job, I realized that, oh my God, I cannot have a job. I cannot be trapped in an office the rest of my life. What am I going to do? So I remember that a colleague approached me. I guess that was like the law of attraction at work, because she came up to me and she was like, hey, do you know what network marketing is? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I've heard of those things. And she invited me to a meeting for a network marketing company, which I ended up joining. And this was while I was still at my job in 2008. And since you're in real estate, you know what happened in 2008, right? There was a big financial crisis all over the world. And so nobody wanted to join any businesses. So I literally joined like a week before the financial thing in September of 2008. Wow. And so, so it was really hard to get anybody interested in joining any type of business or taking any risks. So what I did is I went online and I started researching, okay, how do you do this business? Because the person who sponsored me had no clue what she was doing. So she didn't know anything. She got lucky, I bought. And I found a bunch of gurus, a bunch of experts from the US. That's why I started doing content and everything in English first, because in South America, nobody was talking about lead generation, funnels. Like, these were, it was another language for me. So I started learning these things. I started learning about branding, about social media. I started building my personal brand. I joined Twitter back then, was like a big thing. Facebook, LinkedIn. And fast forward a couple years later, I quit the MLM thing. But the good thing was that thanks to that, I learned about digital marketing. I learned about all these amazing things that I do today. So it was thanks to that. So I left the company and I started doing like freelancing for local businesses here in Chile who needed to use social media. I discovered I was good at it. I enjoyed it. I was able to quit my job. So in 2010, and I started working independently. And then a couple of years later, in 2012, I discovered affiliate marketing, and it was way more interesting than network marketing. So I started doing that, and that was a year where I had like a breakthrough, I guess, like my first breakthrough, where I started making more money than, just enough to live. Like, oh wow, now I can do more things. I think I can travel now. And then from there I kept.
Hold on 1 second. For those of you that don't know, affiliate marketing is basically when you help sell somebody else's product or service, and then they give you a commission off of it, right? So for example, let's just like Carolina has a coaching program. If I was to refer somebody and they were to purchase, she would give me some kind of a referral agreement, and it's the same thing and vice versa. That's what that is. Most people don't know what that means. That my audience, I wanted to say.
Yeah. So affiliate marketing really was something that was amazing for me. You didn't have to create your own products, you didn't have to deal with customer service and a bunch of things. So it was really cool. I started doing that. And then I started growing a little more internationally. I started going to events. I started to, get invited to speak at seminars. And then since then, so past 10 years now, I started also doing my own thing when I started figuring figuring out how to make money online. Other people wanted to learn from me. So that's when I started doing my own courses a couple of years later. And so today I still do affiliate marketing. As you know, we are fellow affiliates for Tony and Dean. But now I'm more focused on my own products, and I am more, more careful with what I promote as an affiliate. I've had a few bad experiences there.
I know, huh? So true, so true. So last year, or year before last, Caroline and me both were in the top 10 for Tony and Dean. I was number 2, and then
you're so good.
And this year I was number 3. This year, this did you do it again this past year?
Yeah, I mean, last year I was not in the top 10 though. This year I made it to the top 10. I was 8th.
Oh, good for you! Yay! I thought you were in the top 10 last year because you went to that thing.
I was in the top 20.
Top 20,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but now I'm in the top 10.
We get to see each other when we go to the Tony and Dean event. So it's Tony Robbins and Graziosity. That'll be fun. I'm excited about that.
Me too.
You, Carolina. That's going to be awesome. Yeah. Something good should happen from that. Tony and Dean had me speak on their challenge. Their challenge this past time. I was on the last day, which was great for the brand, and it was such an amazing experience.
I know.
So I bet you that's very likely that might happen with you this year.
It's another of my dreams, like someday they invite me to speak at one of their virtual events or in-person events. I don't know. It's in my, when I visualize things, that's one of them.
Oh, I could see you doing that. I mean, I have to say something about you. You just have a really good heart, and you could just tell you're very genuine and real. And I think that's it's not as common in the internet marketing world. And I love seeing you successful because I'm all about helping women be successful. And I'm men too, but I just love, there's not enough millionaire women out there and successful women. So it's nice when we get to see them, which is awesome. Okay. So you took a risk, right? You started something new, you went all out, you realized this whole work thing is not for me. And so you worked for an MLM, and then you did affiliate marketing. And I'll tell you, I'm actually with EXP as well. I joined EXP as kind of like a side type of a thing. And my gosh, I'm like number 88 out of 90,000 agents through EXP. Yeah, so it's been really, really nice. And I remember the first time I got like a $300 check, I was so happy because it was, residual. And I'm like, whoa.
I love that.
Yeah, you love that. So you teach people like marketing, lead magnets, funnels, sort of how to brand themselves, correct?
Yes.
That's so good. And what is this? Tell everyone where they can reach out to you first. While we have people here, tell them where they can find you. And I know you have something you wanted to kind of offer. So good. Talk about that now too, so we don't lose anybody.
Yeah, probably the best place to reach me directly is Instagram, which is my name at Carolina Millan with double L. That's where I mostly check the DMs myself, and I reply to comments myself. Most of my content right now is in Spanish. I do, of course, when I do interviews, like when I'm going to do with you, we put subtitles and we share the clips from the English podcasts over there as well.
Awesome. And just so you know, everyone, it's Carolina Millan, which is Millan. So Carolina Millan, Millan. You can find her on Instagram, and she's just amazing. Okay, good. So what do you think? Like, I always ask people this question, and I usually end with it, but I want to end with it with you right now. But I always ask, like, if you could give, one piece of advice, whether it's personal or business, to anybody, what would that advice be?
Well, let's see. On the business side, I guess one thing I wish I did sooner when I was starting, when I was younger too. I just turned 40 last week, so
you don't look it.
I don't. Thank you.
You don't look it at all. You're beautiful.
Thank you. I'm still a bit. Am I really 40?
Hey, I'm 52. Don't even go there. I'm 52. You can't complain about your age until you're at least 52.
I know, but you look gorgeous anyway.
Yeah.
Well, when I was younger, I wish I took more risks. Like my journey has been very slow paced. Like I've taken my time, and I think if I had taken more risks when I was just starting, even in 2012 when I had this breakthrough, I was like, oh, I made like my first 5-figure month, I think, that year. If only I had reinvested more and taken more risks. For example, I never invested much in paid traffic until like 2015.
Oh, wow.
Like I was doing Facebook ads in 2012, but barely. Like I was scared, you know.
What were you
But
afraid of? What were
imagine.
you afraid? And just to let you know, if I look, like I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm not. I cannot find where Zoom went with you. So I'm trying to find you right now as we speak. And that's the reason why. Oh, here you are. Gosh, sorry about that. I was like, where'd she go? Okay,
I'm
so
right.
what do you think you were afraid of with the paid Facebook ads? You're just afraid of losing money, or?
I was afraid of losing. I mean, I still am even today, maybe a bit less, but yeah, I was afraid of losing money. I guess I was like holding on to it, you know, like it wasn't even
Yeah.
that much.
Well, scared money doesn't make money. I always talk about that. Scared money doesn't make money. And,
Exactly.
what our biggest ROAS has been, or when ROAS, by the way, everyone is return on ad spend. What that means is if you put $1 in, what is your return? Do you get $1 back or $3 back? Or I'll give you an example. Today, I'm doing a new marketing campaign for 2024. And we knew that our ROAS, our return on ad spend, we spent like $100,000 last year and we ended up making like 317,000. So we more than 3x our ROAS, which means that was a good investment, right? And you want to track everything. Like we track everything. Where do these leads come from? What's our best source? But Facebook's always been great for me. And especially like we teach our students, hey, you want to create Facebook ads, just giving value, just giving content, put money behind the spend. So you're seen more, know, like, trust, build the authority. But it's scary. It is getting harder and more expensive to advertise on Facebook nationally, but not the case when you're doing it locally. Just so you know, it's pennies to the dollar.
Yes, yes. So that's one of the things I wish, I wish I took more risks when I was younger, and I'm taking more risks now. But if I had dared to do more back then, I would be way ahead, farther ahead today. So that's one thing that I think is important, to take more risks, calculated risks, not silly risks.
Yeah. But
then
investing like in Facebook ads is like that's a good risk, right? It's calculated. It's a smart one. It's like, hey, if this works, it's not like you're gambling. It's a matter of you being in charge of your budget and learning how and modifying and making adjustments, right? And that's how you can fast track. And one of the biggest issues that I see a lot of people make, no matter what profession they're in, is they do not pay attention enough to marketing. And I believe that marketing and innovation is the backbone behind any business. And the more exposure you get, like attention is currency, right? The more attention you can get. And unfortunately, paying for it is the fastest way.
It is.
Yeah, you can pay for speed, or you can, it's going to cost you either way. It takes you 3 or 4 years longer. That's costing you, right?
Yes, yes. And that's why I also teach my students Facebook ads. Like a lot of people are stressed that, oh my God, I don't have any followers. How am I going to get people to sign up for my webinar or download my lead magnet? I'm like, don't worry about followers. That's a long-term strategy, but do ads, spend on ads. So, yeah.
And what do you usually advise them to spend, your students? What do you advise them to spend?
I think it depends a lot on how far along they are. If they're just getting started, like I'm like, okay, like the least you should spend is $20 a day. Like if you do less than $20 a day, like it's gonna take forever. And then you see what happens with that. And also, in Latin America, prices are lower still. It's still cheaper to run ads in Latin America than in the US. So with the same $20 in Latin America, you get way more leads than in the US. So yeah, that's like the least. And then it really depends on.
Do they have as much money in Latin America as people have in the US, you think?
Some people do. Some people do. I mean, here's the thing. When I was starting, I was doing everything in English because I had this misconception that people in Latin America didn't have money. So I was doing advertising in English and content and everything. And then I started looking around and I started seeing all these like experts showing up out of nowhere. And they were doing $1 million launches in Spanish. And I was like, huh? Really? How are they doing this? And then I started moving back to the Spanish language. And yeah, people do pay high ticket over here. You need more leads, like the conversions might be lower. But in the end, because the leads are cheaper, it makes up for it.
Yeah. One of my students, through the $1 Million a Month model, he did over $500,000 on his first launch with me, selling high ticket. It was a $16,000 program that he sold. Enrique.
Spanish? Enrique is my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ask him. Yeah, he'll tell you, Enrique. And I love him. He is so
he's
sweet.
amazing.
He's just such a good heart. I can tell you guys will be friends because he's like you. You're just very heart
We are
centered.
friends.
Yeah, you could tell. But and he was like, he had this belief too, and I had to help him with it. He was like, I don't know, Krista. I says, you do this model, you follow this model, and they will sell. And he's like, wow, I believe you now. You know? If you like this, would like to learn more about marketing, innovation, and technology, and how to stand out as the go-to agent in your area, do me a favor and sign up for my 3-day unstoppable agent, and I will see you there. Yeah, because he
He's
said
doing
that
incredibly.
like $16,000 is the cost of like that's a whole year's wages, you know. So he didn't think that they did, you know. That's good. That's awesome.
People do.
Yeah, yeah, so good, so good. All right. So what else? Tell me what else. Like what else don't we know about you? What do you not want us to know?
What do I not want you? What do I not want you to know? Well, if I didn't want you to know, I wouldn't say it.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Let me think. Well, and another thing I wanted to share with regards to the other question you asked me before. When I was doing so well with affiliate marketing, actually my Tucumã club, I made it with an affiliate marketing company where I crossed 1 million in commissions. And then that company went down. So they were shut down by the FTC. So that was one of the most traumatizing things I've ever experienced, even though it was not my company.
Who was the company?
This was 5 years ago in 2018. It was called MOBE. It was an educational company.
Wow. And the FTC shut them down? Wow.
They shut them down overnight, pretty much. And that was also one of the reasons why I started doing a bit less affiliate marketing, because at the time that was my main source of income.
Oh.
And it was wiped overnight, like zero.
Yeah, and you realize, so you started from scratch, and look at you. You started from scratch.
Pretty much had to restart.
And look at you, you're doing great.
I am doing great now. It was a tough couple of years. I mean, it was really tough. Like half of 2018 and then all of 2019. Yeah, those were pretty bad years for me. But luckily, I had savings. So
yeah, good. Note to self, everyone, try to have some savings, right? If you can.
Yeah, I did have some savings. So, and then I took everything I knew, everything I learned all those years promoting that, and then I decided to do more of my own stuff and do more in Spanish. I started seeing the opportunities here. And I tell everybody, like even people like you, maybe you don't speak Spanish, but you could always you could still sell programs in Spanish, even if you don't speak the language, if you have, the right team to support you.
Oh yeah, well, just have it translated, have it translated and make sure. Yeah, that's awesome. I've actually thought about taking my training in Spanish. Now that they've got all this artificial intelligence, it's way easier now, and you can run ads and do it all.
Yes.
I'm gonna wait a few months.
Clone yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Clone yourself. Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. Are you diving into it much?
I am actually. I'm not like using it every single day or for everything, but I have been using ChatGPT a lot and Midjourney, and then there are a couple of video creating. I haven't cloned myself yet. I'm a bit scared of that.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
I'm doing it through ChatGPT. I'm doing it through a different company so they don't own all my information,
There are a bunch of different softwares that you can use today. But yeah, I've been using it a lot. It's really helpful, especially for my content creation strategies. I get a lot of ideas, even for my podcast. Like I went the other day on ChatGPT. I was like, I'm going to interview Krista Mashore for my podcast. Do you know her? Yes, I know her. She is blah, 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 real estate, blah, blah. Okay. Can you come up with some really, really good questions for her? And then I go through the questions and I filter out the ones that I like. And then, of course, I add the ones that I want to ask. And I've been doing that with the past few episodes of my podcast. And it comes up with really great questions.
That's a good idea. I wish I would have done that for this. I didn't think about that. It's amazing.
I don't think ChatGPT would know much about me anyway.
Oh, you're so funny. That doesn't know much about me either. But that's so funny. Yeah. Well, I mean, I do put a lot of content out there. So that might be why it maybe knows me. Because I'm definitely not famous. That's for sure. So,
you are famous enough. It knows a lot about you.
You're so cute. It's funny. This is how much I believe in marketing, right? And also, let's talk a little bit about time, because you said a couple of things that, you had a few rough years, 2018 and 2019.
Mm.
And luckily you had a savings. What do you think got you through? Because, you know, like I'll tell you right now, I've probably had 4 of the hardest months that I've had in about 3.5 years as far
Wow.
as profitability, right? Our sales have not been what they usually are. We've made some adjustments and things are getting better. And I know that we're going to be great, right? I mean, I've got plenty of reserves saved, but it does mess with your mindset. Like my mindset, I've
Yes.
noticed, and I have to remind myself, okay, watch what you're saying. What are you thinking to yourself? You can't say things like, oh my gosh, this has been the hardest month, because you're getting what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Like you have to really train your brain and train your thoughts to go the opposite. And that's what I specialize in, is mindset, right? And I know that
Yes.
when you're having difficulty, it's hard to do. So, but it's so imperative that we keep our mind right, especially with what's going on right now.
Mm.
But what do you think got you through?
Well, on one hand, the alternative, you know, just think about, okay,
Yep.
if I don't, you know, come back and reinvent myself, you know, what's the alternative? What, looking for a job? Like, no, I'm not gonna do
Yep.
that. It's not like I had nothing. I mean, I still had my branding, I had my email lists. I was not starting from zero because I focused on building a personal brand all those years. It was more like, okay, I need to create new products, right? Because I can no longer promote these things that I was promoting. So
Yeah.
that was the part where I had to almost start from zero. But because I worked on building my reputation, even though, you know, when something like this happens, even if it's not you who got sued, some people still blame you. Hey, you were an affiliate of this thing. So therefore,
Yeah. Oh,
you.
stressful for you, huh?
It was awful. That's why I'm telling you, people were so mean and like blaming me and stuff. And I'm like, I never, you know, I didn't do any of the practices that they were, you know, the reason
Really?
they were sued was because they used bad marketing, mostly claims, you know, making promises that you cannot keep. I never did that in my own marketing. But of course, when you're an affiliate, you don't control what the company is doing. You only control
Yeah.
what you do. So I didn't want to go backwards. I didn't want to, you know, the alternative was, what am I going to do something else? I really love what I do. So, and then that was one thing. And then of course, the other thing was, you know, people like what I do. People find it useful. I can, you know, I can help other people, and make money at the same time. So that got me through as well. And then with the pandemic, because I couldn't go anywhere. So 2020 was like the year
You're
where
stuck in your house.
I know. So 2020 was like, okay, this has to be my year. And because I was stuck at home all year, I got a lot done. And
Yeah.
so that was great in a way for me. It was, of course, it was a bad year for a lot of people, but for me it was actually good.
Oh gosh, me too. I hate to say it, but my business, I completely revamped everything when COVID hit. And we had like, you know, and it transformed the business completely. And I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I was very similar to you, but in a different way. When I left real estate to be a full-time coach, right? I had sold 154 homes the year before. I was doing amazing in business. I was doing like 1.8 million-ish. I don't remember exactly, but in commissions. It was, but I had to leave for the same reason. It was like, I cannot keep doing this. Like I'm working myself to death. I am tired. Like selling 100 homes year over year on average, you know, plus as an agent, it is taxing on your body. And so I was like, I can't do this another 5 years. Like the alternative of staying where I was is exactly the reason why I left, which was people were like, you're crazy. You're 47 years old. Normal people at 47 that are making over $1 million a year, they don't leave their job to do something else. Like nobody's going to pay you, Krista, to coach them. And I was like, oh, I guess I better figure it out then. You know?
No, you did the right thing, I think.
Yes, I did. Well, and I love it. And I'm like you. I love people. I love helping people. I love,
Yeah.
you know, making an impact. And you know, you could do that as an agent, but I could do it so much more, helping other people help more people. You know, so it's kind of I love that aspect of it, like you.
Yes. I love
Okay,
it.
so we're winding it down here. What would you like to leave us with? So, one piece of advice, good or bad, marriage, business, whatever it could be, your advice would be what?
Well, I think it's something you just said, but careful with what you think, you know, mind your thoughts. Because the moment I started noticing my self-talk, like I still do a bit less, but I still do a lot of negative self-talk, you know? And when I became aware of it and I started saying things like, okay, don't say that, switch, make the change and stop saying those negative things to yourself. I started to see that change in the outside world as well. There's this quote, your inner world reflects your outer world. So it's true. So watch what you say about yourself. Mind the words you use. Sometimes we use words that are very heavy, like I hate this. Like, don't say I hate this, say I don't like this. It's a bit softer. It's a bit less, charged. Or I suck, things like this that we say all the time. And we don't realize.
Never say to anybody else. Do you know that Twitter did a study? They were able to detect heart disease based upon the words people used more so than socioeconomic factors like, how much money people made, like obesity, weight gain, all of that. Usually, if you have weight gain and you're obese, you're more, or it's been shown that sometimes in poor areas, there's more because of the way they eat. They were able to detect based upon the words more than those factors. And they showed a graph of heart disease and it matched. It was a trip. Wow. That is how vital it is to keep your thoughts. You're going to die. I say this. But I wrote a book, Stop, Snap, and Switch. So you said you got to switch your thoughts. This is all about mindset and how, you have to stop and recognize it and then snap the bracelet and switch it.
I have the bracelet. I'm not wearing it now, but I have it.
Yeah, it's so cute. But it's everything. And I have to tell you, like lately, I've had to remind myself, I'm actually re-listening to my own book because I've noticed that, oh my gosh, you're being a little bit more negative. You're not saying, you're letting this get to you. This is temporary. Things don't happen to you. They happen for you. So I 1000% could not agree with you more. Mindset is more important than skill set because it's the precursor. Yes. Do you know with your students, my students always tell me when I'm like, what did you like? I teach them how to build funnels and to make great money and to, how to build websites and to run Facebook ads, and be like an ninja in their business. And when I ask them what they like best, you want to know what they say?
What do they say?
They like the mindset. They're like, I like the mindset.
It's true. I've had a lot of students say the same thing, that, this was really cool, the funnels and all that, but the mindset part is what made the difference for a lot of them. So
what made the difference. Yeah. And also I think it's the coaching, the accountability and support, because there's another study called the Change or Die study. And people were told, if you don't change your behavior, you're going to die. Well, after a year, 9 out of 10 people, even with death on the line, couldn't change. But the ones that had the coaching, the accountability and the support, they were 7 times more likely. 77% of them made the change with the coaching, accountability and support. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
Well, Carolina Millan, that is Millan. Go follow her on Instagram. Look her up. She is amazing. She is the real deal. Whether you're in Spanish or in English, you can look for her for resources. She really, truly is a servant heart and cares about people, and she's making an impact. Carolina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
Oh, you are amazing. Everyone, make it a great day. And remember, I hope you're just as fired up as I am that Carolina got me. And know this, knowledge is not power. Implementation of the knowledge is power. So it's time to get ready and implement on what you learned today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. If you like this, would like to learn more about marketing, innovation, and technology, and how to stand out as the go-to agent in your area, do me a favor and sign up for my 3-day Unstoppable Agent, and I will see you there. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.